Atmospheric temperature. Our Earth has no light and heat of its own. It receives heat from the Sun. The surface temperature of the Sun is estimated to 6,000 degrees Celsius. The Sun continuously radiates its energy known as solar radiation. The Earth receives only a fraction of the total solar radiation. Only 1 in 20 billion parts of the Sun's energy. The amount of solar radiations coming down to the Earth is known as insolation. On the basis of heat received by the Earth, we may divide the Earth into the following heat zones: torrid zone, temperate zone, frigid zone. Torrid zone. Torrid zone lies between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn on both sides of the equator. Here, the sun's rays are almost vertical throughout the year. This zone receives maximum heat and is the hottest zone of the Earth. Temperate zone. The temperate zone lies between the Tropic of Cancer and Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere, and between the Tropic of Capricorn and Antarctic Circle in the southern hemisphere. In this zone, the sun's rays never fall vertically. This zone is neither too hot nor too cold. Frigid zone. Frigid zone lies to the north of Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere and to the south of Antarctic Circle in the southern hemisphere. Here, the sun's rays are very slanting. This zone receives very low amount of heat. Hence, this is a very cold part of the Earth. Heating and cooling of the atmosphere. Sun is the only source of atmospheric heat, but it hardly affects the atmosphere directly. The high mountain summits are often covered with snow, while plains are warm. The atmosphere is heated in the following ways: through radiation, through conduction, through convection, through advection. Through radiation. Radiation is the direct heating of an object by the transmission of heat waves. The atmosphere absorbs a little amount of incoming solar radiation, but it largely absorbs the outgoing radiation from the Earth's surface. Thus, the atmosphere is heated more by terrestrial radiation rather than by incoming solar radiation. Through conduction. Conduction is the process by which the heat is transferred to matter by molecular activities. When the lower layer of atmosphere, which is in touch with the ground, comes in contact with the upper layer, the heat particles move from lower to the upper layer. Thus, the atmosphere gets heated up. Through convection. It is the transfer of heat by the movement of a mass or substance from one place to another. When the air in the lower layer of the atmosphere gets heated, it expands and moves upwards, and the air from different sides come to take its place. Thus, convection currents are formed by constant rising of air. This heats up the atmosphere. Through advection. When the wind moves from a warm region towards a cooler region, it increases the temperature. And when a wind moves from a cooler region towards warm area, it reduces the temperature. The temperature of the atmosphere cools down or heats up due to horizontal movement of the wind. Factors controlling temperature. The temperature is the degree of hotness or coldness. The atmospheric temperature does not remain the same everywhere. It varies from place to place because it depends upon a large number of factors. They are latitude of a place, altitude of a place, distribution of land and sea, ocean currents, and vegetation cover. Latitude of a place. The angle of incidence of sun's rays is not the same everywhere due to the spherical shape of the Earth. The angle of incidence is high on and around the equator and goes on decreasing towards the poles. Altitude of a place. The altitude of a place controls the temperature. The higher we go, the cooler it becomes. This is because atmosphere is heated indirectly by the heat of the earth, that is, terrestrial radiation. The places at lower altitudes or plains are warmer. Distribution of land and sea. The distribution of land and water bodies also controls temperature. During the daytime, earth gets heated quicker than the sea water, and during night, the land releases heat more quickly than the sea water. Ocean currents. The warm ocean currents along the coast help to increase the temperature of a coastal area, while cold ocean currents help to decrease the temperature of a coastal area. Vegetation cover. The forest cover and other plant life absorbs much of the heat received from the sun. The vegetation also prevents quick radiation from the earth. Thus, the desert areas having no vegetation gets heated more quickly during the day, and at night they release the heat and get cooler quickly during the night time. Measurement of temperature. Temperature is measured by an instrument called thermometer. A thermometer is a narrow glass tube which is graduated and filled with mercury or alcohol. It works on the principle that mercury expands when heated and contracts when cooled. There are two different scales for measuring temperature: Fahrenheit and Celsius or centigrade.